Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Ray Curry of the Unction, and it appears that I was contacted by Suzy Lamb. And if this is really Suzy Lamb, I want the public to know that it is really, really time to pray. Thank you all so much for watching. If you understand the digital media world we're in right now, you know that we need your support. So continue to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, if the Lord placed it on your heart, give to this great working cause. And by all means, continue to pray for us. We're doing a good work and we cannot come down. Now, let's go forward to the thought-provoking discussion. Thank you all for joining us on the Unction, where we give the Word of God and depend on the Spirit of God to edify the people of God. Thank you to everyone who came back on to hear this, because I want this right. We had some audio issues, but I was just contacted by what appears to be Suzy and Jonathan Lamb, and it was on one of the videos that has been circulating here. And I'm going to read this again, and we're going to get to some things. It says, "Thank you, bro. I would love to answer your questions. I found out about other stories after I was fired. We knew nothing before. I wouldn't tell their stories because these women never want to talk about it. Nothing about kids. It's not my place to make other women speak up. Also, we never saw mafia behavior until I was fired. It was a whole new world indeed. Always willing to answer questions. Thank you for speaking truth. Much love to you, brother." And I did a preliminary search, made sure the links worked, made sure it went back to Jonathan and Suzy Lamb podcast, just tried to make sure everything lined up. And in a preliminary search, things line up, and it seems to be from Suzy. And you might ask, why did I just decide to come on out with it? And the reason is because, number one, I don't want it said, if this is them, I don't want it said that they have given their story and their answers and their explanations and it wasn't heard. Now, we're going to get back to it, but I don't want to say it wasn't heard, or that content creators say whatever they say, but they're not willing to put out their viewpoint. That's the first reason why I came on here. The second reason why I went ahead and came on here, in case this is not them. Because if they didn't send me this, then that would mean someone has hacked them, gotten into their electronics, and they're under attack. They're under a cyber attack, which would mean that they could be in for a lot of fighting in the days to come. Someone said another live feed, but I have to do this because this is pretty urgent. Everyone knows I'll do my one per day, but I really want to get into this. I'm going to be a lot more concise. We're under 5 minutes, and I'm going to pack a lot of information into this. So when I spoke earlier and even yesterday, my words are very concise. I have a lot of personal experience and insight into this. So when I hear this story, I've heard a lot of my story. And when I hear this story, I hear a lot of how I was manipulated. And so if this truly is Suzy and Jonathan, there's an understanding here, because there's outside knowledge and there's inside knowledge, and they can hear some things that's really, really inside knowledge. And I'm going to get to that in just a moment. So once again, I'm going to show this to the audience. And if you know something that I don't know, if you can tell me something differently, please do. I'm looking in the comments, because I don't want to just be putting out things that's not founded. It was, and it still is, under my original video. And as you read, it says, "Thank you, bro. I would love to answer your questions. I found out about other stories after I was fired. We knew nothing before. I wouldn't tell I wouldn't tell their stories because these women never want to talk about it. Nothing about kids. It's not my place to make other women speak up. Also, we never saw mafia behavior until I was fired. It was a whole new world indeed. Always willing to answer questions. Thank you for speaking truth. Much love to you, brother. And once again, if someone knows better about their contacts and how they reach out to people, how they respond, and you can tell me something better or differently, that's fine. I am willing to accept that. But I want to show you, if this truly is Suzy, I want to show you the parts that really hit her heart. What it says, I believe the whole time there are other victims of sexual abuse at Daystar. Absolutely. Now I want to get into what really hit this young lady's heart, if this truly indeed is her. Like I said, either this is them or their electronics are under attack. And either way, I'm going to point out some things that would tell us we need to really pray for Suzy. We need to pray for Jonathan. We need to pray for Suzy. We need to pray for that child. Because ultimately, it's that child who is suffering because of the manipulation that was done to her parents. So, before I get into that, we got to deal with Jimmy Evans. When all of this came out and Jonathan was fighting back, I want to say that Jimmy Evans was one of the allies of Joni Lamb, and Jimmy Evans is the voice that everyone hears that's telling Jonathan and Suzy that Joni is the voice of God at Daystar. And this is the leader of what's called OX or XO marriage. What is it called? XO marriage. This is Jimmy Evans. If you have anything to do with this man, I want you to disassociate from him. I want you to stop following him. I want you to stop supporting him, because this evil sycophant, because that's what he is. Jimmy Evans is a sycophant of Joni Lamb, and he is the one on the video saying, allegedly, he is allegedly the one on the video saying that Joni is the voice of God to them. Jimmy Evans helped the cover-up of a child sexual abuse case, allegedly. You got to say that, even though you feel what you feel in your spirit, you got to say that because of legalese or whatever. But I want Daystar, everyone there, to know 100% of $0 is $0. You can come get my $0. You can come get my 100% of $0. Y'all wicked. Y'all are a wicked group of people. And God gonna get you. And your time of exposure is here. And Jimmy Evans, your hands are dirty. You should have said, let me step away, but you are a sycophant, and you're a searcher of glory, and you're a searcher of power, and you sat there and you aided in the abuse of a child, your wicked self, trying to get Jonathan to sign an NDA so that it would not reflect on the Daystar company. I wanted to deal with you. Also, I'm going to deal with something else that other people don't want to deal with directly. But I'm going to say this name, and we'll just have to see how that play out later. And I'm not going to associate it to anything. I'm going to just say this name, and I'm going to give a comment about it. Joshua Brown. Joshua Brown. You might want to clean your name up. I ain't say you done nothing. I don't know what you did or didn't do. You know, Pete and Repeat was on a boat, and Pete fell off, and who was left? Repeat. Pete and Repeat was on a boat. Pete fell off, and who was left? Repeat. Let me repeat this. Joshua Brown, you might want to clean your name up, because we hearing some stuff about you. And I'm not sure so I can't say. But there's this joke that I wanted to tell y'all again. Pete in repeat was on a boat. Pete fell off, and who was left? It was repeat. So what I want to say to everybody is please remember that joke, and if you can, go ahead and get a message out to Joshua Brown. Let him know that joke about Pete and repeat being on a boat. So let's see. I have a very hard time believing that this is Suzy. Okay, yeah, all right. See, you have your opinions. My point is this. If it isn't, then somebody is really creating links and bringing things to her name and their podcasts and their videos and this, that, and other. Now, but what I want to talk about really is why Suzy really needs a lot of prayer, help, and support. Listen to this, and I'm going to get out of here. This is not going to be as long as earlier today.
I have a very long history of being extremely compliant and obedient and submissive. And this is not me saying nice things about myself. I don't know if it's even a nice thing. It is just the facts of.
Y'all need to understand how these types of families work. You don't get to marry in until you have vetted the young lady or the young man, or whichever way it is. You don't get to marry into that family until you have proven that you worship that family. You don't get to marry in that family until you have proven that you are there to serve them. Because in their mind, once again, they feel like little gods. This is the little God theology. And when you marry into that family, they feel like you, a mere mortal, don't really have rights to that family. You're here to serve my child. You're here to love my child. So we're going to go on and show you the subservience of this young lady.
I was not allowed on our own children's photo shoots. The Christmas photos that were shown on the TV shows, I wasn't allowed on those. I had to just trust me. The statement, trust me. I had to trust my mother-in-law.
Wow. Okay. Well, what I want to say to you is I just got an email that's kind of wild. What I want to say to you is Suzy was so much treated like a second-class citizen that she didn't have rights to her own children. She didn't have rights to her own children. I am going to, I'm actually going to answer this email, and I'm actually going to have more information. But anyway, they told this girl, you can't take pictures with your own children. If y'all just looked at the email I just got, my Lord in heaven, I'm really about to jump out of the seat. Whew. Suzy was not viewed as a human being. She wasn't viewed as a person.
When I saw that man, I told my kid to go put on her swimsuit. I saw him turn and follow her up those stairs. And I just felt it in my gut, in my spirit, get Jonathan. They will not believe you. And that is the best thing that I could have ever done for my child.
Suzy was viewed as the bondwoman, the maidservant, the plaything of Jonathan in Joni's mind. You are not really family. So in that video, when Suzy saw Pete going up the stairs behind her daughter, she is so invalid to the family that she said she had to get her husband, Jonathan. She had to go and get Jonathan because they would not have believed her. They would not have believed her if she had been the one to say, I saw Pete in the room with our daughter. They wouldn't have believed her. They would have just, because she's nothing, they just would have simply said, no, you didn't. That's how invalid she is. That family thinks so little of her, it just would have been nothing. And like I said earlier, I'm very glad that Jonathan loves her. Because if he didn't love her, he would be able to do anything he wanted to her, and Joni would have justified it. They would have explained to her why it is her fault that she had to endure abuse from Joni's son. They would have really, really, really drug her through the mud if Jonathan didn't love her. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad he does love her, because this could have been a lot worse.
I truly believe that if I did not scream for Jonathan and Jonathan didn't have such an aggressive, big reaction, today they would not even be admitting that he had followed her up the room.
And that's true. Let me give you the scripture. This same mentality is in the Bible, but it had to do with Hagar and Sarah. And what God was doing for a true illustration of his work and redemption, these little God people with these God complexes, they have a perverted mindset when it comes to this. And this is the type of mind they have in the wrong way. And it comes out of Galatians 4:30. Despite all the love Suzy has shown, verse 30, nevertheless, what saith the scripture? Cast out the bondwoman and her son. Who cares about your children? Cast out the bondwoman and her son. For the son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with the son of the free woman. In their mind, you were the bondwoman. In their mind, you were the handmaid of the family. And since Jonathan felt like fraternizing with the handmaiden, they allowed you to marry in the family. But in their mind, you'll never really be family. Let not the bondwoman's son be heir with the free woman's son. You were never considered family. These people have that sickness. Now, let's go to
I don't know if I should even say this or not, but I had the honor of, after he passed, very slow and hard death, but, got to, rub his head because his head would get hot and my hands were always cold. So I'd rub his head and rub oil on his feet. And I don't know if I should even say this or not, but I had the honor of, after he passed in his body, most people left. It was you and me. And I had the honor to close his eyelids.
I mentioned it earlier. There's something called Stockholm Syndrome, where you fall in love with your captors. This young lady was brought in because they felt that she was broken enough to hold the family secrets and worship and serve them. And this young lady is suffering so badly that as the man who helped cover up her daughter's abuse died, she was there rubbing oil on his feet, helping him to the restroom, rubbing his head to keep him cool because he was so warm and her hands were so cool. And she was there trying to still show love to a man that was phasing out. But the truth is, you did all of that love and service and you still wasn't family. You still wasn't accepted. This young lady endured multiple forms of wickedness because she wanted to be family. Jonathan wanted to carry the family legacy. And sadly, the biggest loser has been the child. This is a very unfortunate story. This is a very unfortunate situation. Someone said something about the mysterious case of Marcus' death and how Joni just hopped over there to a new man. And Sheila Mahone said the $1,000,000 question when Marcus was transitioning and little Suzy did all this with Marcus. Sheila Mahone asked the real question. Where was his dude wife? Why did you leave the daughter-in-law? Hey, you stay in there with the sick man. Why did you leave the daughter-in-law to rub his feet with oil and rub his head and help him around to the restroom? This don't even sound right. Even bless Jonathan's heart. Jonathan, that don't even sound right, young man. You should have told your mama, you should look your mama. Yes, Jonathan, I know that sounds crazy. Not in the culture that you grew up in. But yes, Jonathan, you should have looked dead at your mama and said, Suzy's husband is me. Mama, go take care of your husband. But Suzy, even down to Marcus's death, was looking for love and acceptance. She was still looking for love and acceptance. And it still didn't happen. Saints of God, this is sad. But I want to tell Suzy and Jonathan, if they are looking, I just got a pretty alarming email. I'm about to see some things. But if you are looking, if this is you, I'm not saying the things I'm saying to demean or belittle you or make you feel like y'all did something evil, you're horrible parents. I'm speaking to you as a brother who been through this too. And people from the outside who ain't never been in these type of cults of personality have no clue how deeply it can mess you up. They have no clue. It don't sound nothing like right to say, I rubbed the feet of the man who possibly covered up, who did stop the investigation of my daughter's sexual assault. I get what you are saying. Regular people don't know what you talking about. This don't sound nothing like right, nothing like normal. This don't make no kind of sense. How in the world can something like this happen? But when you were born in it, when you grew up in it, when you were indoctrinated by it, when you have gone through it, you understand that when you had people that you loved and admired, it can get in your heart so deep that you can ignore everything around you. Hence, once again, why I would get a response like this if this is Suzy. Thank you, brother. You know, autocorrect, I see some little, thank you, bro. I would love to answer your questions. I found out about other stories after I was fired. We knew nothing before. I wouldn't tell their stories because these women never want to talk about it. Nothing about kids. It's not my place to make other women speak up. Also, we never saw mafia behavior until I was fired. It was a whole new world indeed. Always willing to answer questions. Thank you for speaking truth. Much love to you, brother. That would explain why we get a comment like that. Because the signs can be all around you. But because of the love that you have, you can ignore everything that's directly in your face. I'm going to tell you about some experiences that I had. I'm going to tell you some of the experiences that I had. I had people coming out of church service and something crazy happened. I'm telling you the truth. Why Suzy and Jonathan probably could legitimately say, "Oh, we ain't never seen this before. This I never heard this. I never seen no mafia behavior." Let me tell you why they can legit say that. I've lived through this. I know what they could be going through. We would have services at the church I grew up in, and at the end of service, they would come out, something crazy just happened. But because the crazy has become normal, they would come out of the service and I would ask them, "Did you hear this? Did you see such and such just happen? Did you hear such and such just happen?" "Oh, nah, what? When that happened? When they do that? When she say that?" And I'm sitting there looking at them like, we were just in the same room. We were just in the same room. And I am telling you, the mass hypnosis can happen so badly that people can see things all around them and have no clue they're seeing it. And to them, when they come out of it and they look back in it, they say to themselves, I had no clue. I didn't know. Wow, this is a whole new world. It really can happen. I've seen it. So once again, my point on here wasn't to say that these people, contacted me or I'm 100% sure about everything. What I'm here to do is to show you, number one, Suzy was never family to the Lamb family. I'm here to say, number two, if it ain't them, brothers and sisters, they are under cyber attack. And which would mean a lot of people about to be under cyber attack. But number three, I'm here to say there are still some things to learn, even from the verbiage. There's some things to learn, even from, what went on. And I am looking at some of the answers, and I appreciate some people have their opinions of who it is and who it isn't because of the spelling and different things like that, but that's fine. I wanted y'all to see those videos again of Suzy, and I wanted y'all to understand the plight that she's in, that Jonathan's in, and I pray that something changes. Anyway, this has been the Unction, where we give the word of God and depend on the Spirit of God to edify the people of God. Bottom line, keep them in prayer. They're going to need it.